What if the greatest threat to democracy isn't an external enemy or even political corruption, but the widespread complacency of its citizens and the cowardice of its leaders? That question isn't rhetorical, it's the cornerstone of the political stagnation paralyzing many modern democracies today. We are witnessing the slow, deliberate erosion of civic backbone by those who hold power and those who give it away through silence. Politics is not entertainment. It's not a branding exercise. It is war for values, representation, and the future. And we are losing because the fight is being waged with empty platitudes and spineless consensus. Let's stop pretending that centrism is a virtue. It's not. It's a mask worn by politicians too afraid to offend and too ambitious to take a stand. There is nothing noble about neutrality in a time of moral crisis. When children are starving, when systemic inequality remains entrenched, when the planet is choking under the weight of deregulation and corporate greed, moderation is not courage, it's capitulation. You do not negotiate with injustice. You confront it. If the house is on fire, you don't sit at the kitchen table debating the temperature. You grab a hose or get out of the way. It is time to say out loud what many whisper behind closed doors. The political class is addicted to comfort. Not the comfort of their constituents, but their own: job security, donor relationships, access to media, and the smug satisfaction of staying in office without doing anything that actually costs them. These are not leaders. They are placeholders. And placeholders cannot guide a nation through crisis. The left, once the conscience of political resistance, has grown disturbingly allergic to power. It fetishizes process, idolizes inclusivity to the point of paralysis, and in its fear of appearing too radical, allows far-right extremism to define the narrative. This isn't strategy, it's self-sabotage. The right has no such hesitations. It marches boldly, ruthlessly, exploiting every vacuum, every moment of hesitation. It doesn't play by rules, it rewrites them. And the public, too often sedated by distraction, made cynical by spectacle, and convinced that nothing can change. But it can. Change does not begin with hope, it begins with anger. Righteous, focused, unrelenting anger. The kind that demands more than symbolic gestures. The kind that refuses to be pacified by tweets or think tank conferences. The kind that organizes, confronts, and dismantles. It's time for political discourse to stop whispering and start roaring. The country doesn't need another bipartisan committee. It needs unapologetic champions. Leaders who are not afraid to name names, to draw lines, and to sacrifice their careers for causes greater than themselves. If you're not willing to lose your seat for what's right, you have no business sitting in it. The media bears responsibility, too. Journalism is not stenography. It is not both sidesism. Its job is not to avoid offending the powerful, it is to hold them accountable. The failure of mainstream media to aggressively interrogate power structures is not objectivity, it's complicity. We need fewer panels and more pursuit. Less balance and more truth. The public is starved for it. The current state of political journalism is like watching someone describe a house fire without ever acknowledging the flames. There are still real battles to be won, but only if we stop treating politics like a brand and start treating it like the fight it is. For climate survival. For economic justice. For racial equity. For the very soul of what democracy was meant to be. The clock is not just ticking, it's screaming. And those who are still waiting for the right moment to act are part of the problem. You cannot steer a nation toward justice with your foot on the brake. The times demand acceleration, not apology. This is not about partisanship, it's about principle. It's about reclaiming the raw, unflinching courage that democracy demands. That means electing leaders who don't just speak truth to power, they wield it. If we want transformation, we must stop settling for performance. We must demand action. We must be ruthless with our standards and fearless in our ambition. Politics is not a spectator sport. It's a contact sport. And it's time we start playing to win.